if people experience this would change people's way of being. If they weren't thinking with their head and they're feeling with their body, with their heart, things would change.
I'm Mira Kaddoura, and this is Into Healing, Austin Edition. On this episode of Into Healing, we sit with Neil Dumra and discover how cacao holds more than flavor. It holds memory, ancestry, and medicine by allowing the heart to open. Through Ritual, he's created a sanctuary of community and connection in the heart of Texas. If you support our mission of giving everyone a way into healing, please consider becoming a paying member through our Patreon. Your generosity will help bring more meaningful conversations to the world. I love that we're here to talk about cacao, and you've already made us a glass of or a cup of cacao.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me use your kitchen. Yeah, love to share this cacao with you, have this conversation.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about, I feel like people know cacao, like we have a meal and then we're like, oh, I feel like something sweet. I'll have a piece of chocolate. Like people know that there's pleasure in chocolate and in cacao, but like that seems like the limit of what people know about it. So tell us more, like it seems like cacao, the way you talk about it and the way you work with it is more like ceremonial, it's more of a guide, it's more of a medicine. Tell us more about that, because I don't think a lot of people understand like the depths of this this medicine.
So when you're having ceremonial cacao, it's not necessarily from
and maybe explain what even ceremonial cacao is, right?
Yeah, just like farming. When things are farmed agriculturally, it has a different purpose and intention. When things are done permaculturally or with nature, it has a different outcome, and it's less for profit. It's more for creating a really beautiful experience, also for nature and for sustainability. And that creates a different essence in the end product. And so when nature is working in a symbiosis, the mushrooms underneath you, the midges, all these different pieces are playing in a symphony that only a few can hear. And when you can hear it, then you can also feel it. And the cacao literally has antioxidants, polyphenols, minerals that not every cacao will have because it's different intention. When you're making it for production, it has a different outcome. When you're making it for the essence, it has a different outcome. So that's ceremonial cacao has a love in action. And it has an essence that comes with the flavor and it comes with the feeling. So ceremonial cacao, like ceremonial matcha, like ceremonial anything, is done with a different intention. And then it has health benefits. It's organic. Everything is clean. Things are protected. The nature in itself is just made for it. So it has a different hierarchy.
Vibration and energy.
Yeah.
So tell us more about, how you work with it as a medicine, right?
Yeah.
And what it does.
Sure.
Because, we've heard about like how it's a heart opener, but like tell us more about that, how it works.
How it works is I learned a lot about the nervous system. And I, aside from having a yoga studio, I study a lot about trauma, somatics, feelings, emotions, the actual vagus nerve, and, the tissue and how things were to heal. And oxytocin plays a big part in it. And so when we're born in our mother's womb, we're just coated with oxytocin. So it's such a beautiful place where we're comforted, we're nurtured. And cacao has a similar essence because it literally puts energy into this place that a lot of times people don't pay attention to. So the heart, and then all these different things like stearic acid, all these polyphenols, it literally softens the tissue around the heart. So the things that we're not aware of in our unconscious, subconscious, where we feel betrayed, where we feel victimized with this trauma, it's starting to soften that tissue. And all of a sudden, if you look at Dr. Joe's work, you become more coherent with your gut. And you start to think less from right, wrong, good, bad, but what is for me in this moment? And that's when you start to become more coherent. And that's when you become more vagal toned. And out of vagal tone, you release the common thought of survival and you go into thrival. If people experienced this would change people's way of being. If they weren't thinking with their head and they're feeling with their body, with their heart, things would change because you're no longer hanging on to the trauma as a way to survive, but you're able to process it and share it with love where it becomes a gift. So that's how I see cacao.
I love that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
The way I even found you or know about you is because in Austin, what I call a little haven in town for me is Casa de Luz, is this little community that is a community kitchen, a playground, a bunch of different businesses, and some spaces to do different healing modalities, from yoga to breath work, and that's where you have. Also, what started as a small thing is now a big thing, but where you started Third Eye Lounge, which is where this delicious cacao comes from. So I just wanted to give that context so people know kind of.
Totally.
But tell us a little bit more about why you were attracted to cacao and how it kind of, how did your interest in it or your curiosity, or when was the first time you tried it?
I have had experience with my body that's been very uncomfortable for most people. So I broke my hips when I was 13, so I have metal in my body, and I love playing tennis. I love playing sports, and I didn't want anything to stop me from doing that. So I've always kept doing those things, but also staying mobile. Yoga helps me do all that as well. But the cacao really just helped me feel really comfortable in my body. So I see cacao as a beautiful ritual that you can have every day. The way I made it was so it doesn't have sugars in it. I take the pure cacao with everything. We don't remove any of the fat. We make it a powder, which then you drink it every day. It helps your stem cells. So cardiologists have proven that it'll double your stem cells.
Wow.
As soon as we're born, our blood becomes less and less viscous. So the more and more we drink things and have things that help our blood flow, it allows our energy, our cells to communicate better, and thus we're more connected.
I love thinking of cacao as a connector.
Yeah. I always see it that way. I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful way to connect.
I like thinking about it not just as a connector of people, but like a connector to land, to the plant world, to the natural world too.
Yeah. Cacao is a beautiful way to develop patience, because when you're operating from the heart space, you're no longer in fight. And so when you're in the head space, you're automatically playing tennis with yourself and others. And it's an unconscious program that people are unaware of a lot of times. So when you're living and operating from this space, spirit is naturally coming to you and giving you all the things you need because you're becoming more in tuned. And so I conceptualize spirit as being in the body. And when you're connected with your body, then spirit is always talking to you, guiding you. It's only when you get into that fight or flight that you lose connection with spirit. That's my perception. And then, there's all these different dogmas and religions and things, which I feel like all of it is right. If you see it from a perspective that is healing, you can always find an objection if you want to. And I think that being spiritual is releasing objections as often as possible. And finding that peace.
And how has it helped you on your journey?
Yes.
I'm so curious about your healing journey, right? And how it's been a guide on your path.
Yeah. It's like the more I can learn to slow down, it's the more I learn to speed up. And that it's in that contrast that I find cacao has really helped me just feel more and process so much. I don't think I would have been able to experience such an intimacy with every human in my lineage without it. I would have lost a lot of experience that I need to learn in order to evolve. And it's like with cacao, you get this grace that you don't get with a lot of other substances. Yeah.
It seems like this medicine works in such subtle ways. It's not like it's not like a big healing experience, which, a lot of people gravitate towards, but it feels like it's these small, subtle shifts that happen. Maybe speak to that and speak to how you start noticing that you are shedding the layers that don't serve you through this medicine.
Right. Yeah. I think it's that subtlety that makes it so palatable And that's how it works. It's in the 1%. It's so similar to when you look for those sensational experiences, they keep coming back. And I noticed that when people are looking for that, they actually get more trauma than anything else, because they're not looking to experience the feeling and emotion with it. And cacao helps you do just that. It's the subtlety. And I think less is more. And we don't need to heal anything. We're all whole. Every human is whole. We all have trauma, which we all get to experience, and it's for us. It's not something to avoid or bypass. It's like for us to learn the gift and find the essence of why we had to experience it in the first place. So I truly believe everything is for us. Every pain is meant to be felt. When we're activated in our bodies, we have to process. You can't stay dormant in it. You can't just think it. You have to feel it, and you have to move it, whether it be through cathartic release or sound or working out or whatever. You're gonna feel your emotion when you're in your body and when that consciousness is flowing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It feels just because you talked about it as like a heart opener and a softener. Like once you can soften and open your heart, things can move. Versus, I think when the trauma, right, makes you brace, makes you kind of
you're constricted.
And this is the opposite of that. Like it's almost it allows you to soften, so you can be more vulnerable, so you can kind of move things out.
It's like having a baby. not in that sense, but it's like, you obviously know more, but I'm saying like tissue has to change in order for something to be birthed.
Yes.
And
or things to shift, like energetic shifts. Nothing's going to shift if things don't move.
Exactly. And the thing goes with trauma is trauma has a very strong ego. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but trauma has a very strong ego.
Of course.
And what I consider ego is everything getting organized. When everything getting organized, spirit heals it all. It's kind of like stem cells. It just takes care of it all. And as long as you are vulnerable enough and safe enough to experience whatever you need to be felt, then everything just gets taken care of by spirit. Yeah.
Tell me more about spirit. I'm so interested in like how the spirit kind of comes into play in this ritual and in this medicine.
Yeah, so it's just that. There is no time and space when you're in this realm. It's like a beautiful fairy space, like the third eye. It's like a space and time where you can indulge in, and, at the same time you want to find ground. So like that's why it's not just cacao. A lot of times I put all these other adaptogens which help you get into the deeper parts. So it's like, yes, go to the heart, but then go deeper. That's kind of my concept.
Is this work that you can do on your own, or is this work that you have to be doing in community?
There's no have to is this. Cacao is beautiful to be experienced on your own, especially when you go outside in nature and just take it for a hike. The most important yoga to me is just moving your body and feeling it. And wherever you feel creaks, feel more of that. Yeah, so I just think of it like that. Cacao can be experienced in a very ceremonial experience too. But ceremony is ceremony, and you can have that with tea or with anything.
For sure. Yeah, the last time I had like a real ceremony with cacao was in Costa Rica, and it was with a bunch of indigenous Costa Rican elders, like native elders, and and it just felt like they've been doing it for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
They maybe never called it ceremonial cacao, but it's been like that. Sitting around the fire, sharing in this drink, and hearing. I mean, there was just so much wisdom by these elders that was shared around a fire, and maybe it's just the ritual of it all.
It's the ritual. It's the environment. It's all the different ways in which they set the intention, and then the channel turns on. And then there it is.
Yeah, all the wisdom.
Yeah.
I had taken the kids to really expose them to like what is their ancestry. They have Costa Rican ancestry, and to really be around those like native elders that have so much wisdom. That like we need to be exposed to. Especially like
totally.
Because we want to connect to those ancestors and that lineage. How do you do that? It's like by learning from these elders that carry so much of that wisdom.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I did some of that in Guatemala.
Oh,
and,
beautiful.
There's a lot of Mayans out there doing that work. A lot of women-owned women cooperatives, and cacao is becoming such a powerful thing everywhere. It's
Why do you think that is? Is it people are just realizing its power? Or because sometimes you don't know is it a trend that people are kind of jumping on the bandwagon of like, oh, cacao's a thing and it's spreading?
I don't know, because I've been doing it longer
Yeah.
than the bandwagon started. I think cacao has become popular because, health is important. And people realize this is a really healthy thing. It's chock full of magnesium and minerals, and our whole world is mineral deficient. Like in terms of food, if you're looking for a superfood, this is amazing for you. So I think, people are becoming more aware. So people realized, if you want to have gut health, you want to have heart health, you're going to need to have different things outside of the traditional diet. So I don't know. I'm not really sure. People are interested in it now.
Yeah. Well, how do you think people should discern? Obviously, there's people that are just trying to make as much money as possible. How can people discern what's like really high quality versus not?
Yeah.
What should they look for?
What they should look for, make sure it's single origin, make sure it's 100%, make sure the people know where it's sourced, make sure it's lab tested. You also got to smell it. If it has the aroma and flavor, but that's also, it comes with time. You get to have that. But cacao, get to know the company, see what they're up to. And I would say most companies right now are pretty transparent with their stuff. A lot of the big companies have, had a lot of heavy metal tests done and have not been good on a lot of them. But when you're making mass cacao, that is what's going to happen. So I say go for smaller companies almost, small, mid-sized companies.
Well, always supporting locally
supporting
too
local.
Makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
Just because you mentioned this previously, I wanted to ask you, can you dig a little or get a little nerdy about the science behind the cacao, like a little bit, because you tapped on like the vagus nerve and all that stuff. Like, tell us a little bit more about what it does to your nervous system.
Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of like a funny thing. These polyphenols, antioxidants, the oxytocin, all of a sudden it allows you to experience like a shift in how you're feeling, especially when you drink it, after a while. You may have thoughts, but they're not coming from here. They're coming from a different space. And so all of a sudden, your energy inside starts to move differently. And so the way I see it is, when you think about fascia and tissue, like when we're born, our closest connection to our mom is right from here. And so when you're putting food in your body and it's nourishing you here, and then all of a sudden here, all of a sudden your auric field is coming from this place rather than like potentially out of body or in different places in our body. And that center place just allows more of that water in our body, which is, I call the vagus nerve like our inner river. And whenever we take stuff from either side, either lineage, and we put it into the river, it gets washed clean. And so it's like, that's part of the energetic consciousness we're creating when we're drinking cacao, is we're just like allowing everything to heal, just letting them to feel, letting everything go. Yeah.
I love the starting to feel. It almost like gets you in touch more with your like emotional body, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And our body is emotional. It's such an emotional piece. And we try to think things through. And it's like, if you feel things through, it's so much better.
So tell me a little bit about feeling things through cacao.
Yeah. So I have these techniques that I call alchemical integration. And it's just different things that people are carrying when they're unaware of. And I help people touch them so that they become aware of it and then release them. So it's like different tools for releasing layers of compensation. That's basically what it is. And it's kind of like Kundalini, but it's more so we're actively creating contralateral movement within our brain, within our heart space, within our legs. And it literally just brings everything in. It's kind of like a cool way to release energy.
Interesting. Reminds me a little bit of tapping.
Yeah, it kind of is, but
Right?
it's specifically for vagal toning. You're literally exercising your fears around survival and moving past them, which is kind of cool. Yeah, you're your own hero every day.
That's cool. So as things come up, you kind of face them and then you move
That's right.
past them.
Yeah, and cacao is a great way to do it. If you drink a coffee, you're going to just find the closest solution. And that generally is the worst thing
Yeah.
for your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. I stopped coffee like 9 or 10 years ago.
Nice.
And, I realized when I used to drink a lot of coffee, a couple cups a day. And then I had a series of health things that came up and I just went cold turkey. But what I realized is what I craved more than anything was the ritual. It wasn't the actual coffee. It was the
100%.
ritual of a hot beverage that
Yes.
just kind of did something, I think, to my nervous system, right? 'Cause
Yes.
hot beverages calm your nervous system somehow. So I just replaced it at the time. I replaced it with turmeric, lemon, and hot water. And that did the same thing, but then didn't give me the crash after the
Yeah,
high,
totally.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is great, I
As
keep
soon-
the ritual, I just change the substance.
That's it. Yes. And I keep explaining, you don't have to drink cacao, just do something different. It's like in the morning, our body craves something to help the digestive flow. So we need minerals too, and magnesium is super good for that. But even tea, lemon, ginger, any of those things, your lymphatic system has got to be working properly for all of these things to work. A lot of people, consumers especially, who like superfoods, are looking for alternatives now.
Yeah. What does it mean to you to be in right relationship with this plant? Especially that its roots are in indigenous communities.
Yes, this
You
is
know?
beautiful. Cacao should be prized, especially because in the world we live in, coconuts are so prized. People want that coconut, and it's because they realize the importance of electrolytes. If we realize the importance of opening our hearts, think about that. That could change everything. So yes, I do believe it's important to honor and pay people. And in fact, if you can pay them before the cacao is even created, you take away survival from their perspective. It changes everything.
Yeah, and probably the energy that they put into the actual...
And the way they package it and the way they love it.
Yeah.
Let that love in. I say always let that love in and share as much as you can. If you can provide them resources, technology, facilities, find ways to do it.
It's so interesting how it's not just the financial part, but it's like paying for the real value of the thing, right? Like if their work is valuable, pay them what they deserve to be paid,
100%.
Instead of just trying to squeeze
You're
and
not
get the
gonna get-
highest margin and all those things.
No one
right?
makes money that way. If you make money that way, you're not making anything and you're not right with your soul. Very basic.
Yeah.
And you can feel that from people if they're trying to just get something.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this a big company and sell it. I want to keep it because I love it. And it's amazing. And
Yeah, it's part of your dharma. It's part of what you're here to do.
yeah, it's
You
got to
know?
be. And if I can't drink that cacao, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to have my name on it. No. It's
Yeah.
got to be the best. And that's where I'll stick with it.
I want to get into just the creating Third Eye Lounge and just the intentionality behind it.
Yeah.
Maybe I know you started it outside of Casa de Luz and then it came into Casa de Luz. Talk to us a little bit about your intentions behind creating this whole
Totally.
thing.
Yeah. So it's a third space, but it's a representation of my grandparents' apartment. So my grandparents lived about 3 miles from where I lived.
This is in Minnesota.
When I was born, 1 month after I was born, they moved from India and raised me.
Oh, wow.
Spent 16 years with me.
Wow.
And it was awesome. And my grandpa was, this amazing person. And his house and his apartment was this really special place because literally all walks of life, all people would come in there. And it was like a very open space. And it was odd because Indian people who've kind of experienced their life were more discerning, but they had no judgments. And it was so cool. And that was the concept that I had, is a place for people to come where there's good nourishment, there's good music, there's good food, all sorts of things that create like a homey type experience away from your home.
Yeah, it just feels like your nervous system kind of calms down as soon as you walk into the space.
That's the intention.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt. Growing up, my parents kept on upgrading their houses, but the houses kept on feeling lonelier and lonelier. And it was that apartment that everybody came to and gravitated towards. And When I came to India when I was just 5 years old, I came from the airport, went into my family's place, and there was like 23 of my family members in one room. And I told my mom, I was like, I'm having anxiousness. Like I'm panicking. Like my room is as big as this house we're going to stay in. And it was in that moment.
This is at 5.
5. And my mom, in that moment, my mom's like, this is love. Go embrace it. And then I did. And I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And I just fell in love with my family that I had never met before. And it was just powerful. I was like, okay, love is not what we think it is.
So true. Whenever I take my kids back to Beirut where my parents live and they come back, we go there, we visit, and we come back for, say, after the summer vacation and stuff, and they come back here, they notice such a difference because they've said, and this is like when they were like 5, 6, like super young, they'd say things like, oh, everybody over there, everybody loves us. Everybody loves us. And they feel it, right?
Yeah.
They feel like
it's love.
Like all these family members, whether they know them or not, love on them, you know? And it's a stark difference from this very like nuclear family setup we have here that's so stripped away from all that community, right? Here we're kind of in this very, I don't know, just these individual lives, where over there it's so much more communal.
So
and,
beautiful. I love it.
Everybody's in everybody's business, but there's also so much beauty to it, where everybody's feeding everybody and everybody, like you can never leave hungry. And
Right. There's love in that language. And it's a language in itself. It's a culture. And I felt that. And I've learned how to discern a lot from that because when you try to bring it to a culture that's normalized, that separation and so much privacy, and there's a lot of trauma, I guess, too, that's mixed into it. So part of it is like finding a way to make semblance of what I thought would be the thing, So
when you've worked with people with Cacao, how do you help them integrate their experiences?
Yes, so a lot of times I will have them communicate. If we're in a group setting, I'll have them talk and they validate their experience, just share what they've experienced and help them process a little bit. A lot of times we take a journal, and that helps take some of their I call them like thoughts that are not feelings out, and then the feelings can come out. So, I think integration is huge. The yoga is really good. Getting into your body and just having focus in it, it helps you process a lot. Taking nature walks is really good. Just getting your feet on the ground.
On the earth,
Yes. I think that is one of the most powerful, underrated tools you can do is just being on the ground.
Oh, yeah. It just pulls all the electricity in your body into the ground.
Yeah. That's it. I say integration, Cacao is integration. So I say Cacao, see it as integration. And just having the concept of setting intentions, consuming it, feeling what you're feeling, and just going about your day with a little bit of that mindfulness, that's it. That's integration.
So what are some misconceptions that people have about either cacao or plant medicine or, these, What? Because I think a lot of people just don't understand, how they work. And
I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I know of based on my lens, my dad being a pharmaceutical rep in that industry, my sister being a doctor, is this thing I see and feel is looked at from a lens of black and white, and when that happens, there's no color, and there's no way to actually feel the nervous system. It's bypassed. And so, plant medicine isn't that way. It's not something that's black and white, and it's also about releasing the black and white. And so when you realize that, it's a very different concept in itself. I'm looking for the unprocessed so we can process. That's what at least people who are holding space are doing, is paying attention to that, not making it the focal point, but paying attention to it.
So if somebody had like some curiosity around trying cacao and working with it, where would they start working with it as a medicine? Yeah,
I say buy some cacao. Get your favorite types of flavors and herbs and things, and start mixing it and making it. And then you can either pick up a book and learn how to do different types of rituals, or You can follow it online. There's YouTube. I have a bunch of content about it. But you can also go to a center. There's a lot of places doing it now. Cacao ceremonies are happening in every city, basically. So, yeah, there's various ways.
But how is it like? Is it something that you start with like a once a week kind of ritual? Is it like, you know, what kind of, how does the process go to deepen your relationship with this plant medicine?
You can start every day if you want to. If you want to replace your coffee or your morning beverage with cacao, you can definitely take a deep dive, and it's not going to hurt anything. You may feel more, and your friends might think you're a little more emotional than usual, but that's okay. That's part of the process. You know, it's like to feel and experience more life, and the quicker you can get into that realm, the better, I say.
Because the more you can just process and move things out, right?
Yeah. And in the world we live in now, is like all we have left is our soul time. You know, anything else is wasted and being busy. You got to release that. And if cacao helps you get away from being busy, then that's what I suggest you do, is get into it.
Tell me a bit more about soul time. Like, why is it so important to really honor and value the time we have?
Right. Yes. I call it soul time because when we're out of body, when we're functioning from a stress space, you know, we're literally flying away from our soul, and we're saying no to the thing we want and yes to the thing that we have to do. And all we're doing is putting more homework into our life. And I think soul time is like, that's when we get to love more, and everything is loved more when we're in our soul time. So that's how I see it. And drinking more cacao, you're going to have more soul time.
In the practice of working with cacao, you talk about intention setting. Tell me more about intention setting. Why is that so important in working with this medicine?
Yes. So I love the word intention, because it's intention. And it's like when you play guitar, if it's too much tension, doesn't sound right. Too little tension, doesn't sound right. It's like intention is so important, because it's your voice, it's your feelings, and you're literally putting it into the cup and you're bringing it in. So it's kind of this thing where the right amount is like, that's what feeling is, the right amount. When you don't feel it, you're not connected to it. And it's like force. And that's not powerful. It doesn't have resonance when it's in that. Intention is like taking that thing that's tension and making it soften, because your whole being is now activating that tension. And then it's inside you. And when it's inside you, it's not outside you. That tension's not outside you. When things are outside you, that's when it's tension.
Oh, interesting. I've never thought about it like that. When it's
I love words.
Yeah.
I'm a wordy guy. So like, I think that prayers are words. And if we say the right words, we're actually praying. That's our intention.
Yeah. I think it's a Rumi quote. The words you speak become the house you live in.
Yes.
You
My
know?
dog's name is Rumi.
So
I love it. It's so true.
It's very true, you know. And that's why, like, I actually do this little, I've done this little experiment with my kids where, and this is a real thing, where you take an apple, you cut it in half. Do you know this experiment? You take an apple, you cut it in half, and you put half the apple in one jar, and you put half the apple in the other jar. And to one jar, you speak a lot of, like, negative words. And then to the other jar, you speak a lot of positive words. And within a week or two, the positive, jar apple is totally fine.
Yeah.
And the one jar with the negative words towards the apple rots.
100%.
And it's like...
It's so true.
It's like, that's a demonstration right there of how our words affect
oh my God, it's so true.
our bodies on a cellular level, you know?
Yeah, and it's also like, you want to be able to vote your own victory. And it's important that we have that same internal voice that we have in this external voice.
And how to be intentional with what you say to yourself too.
That's right.
Right? So if cacao had something to say to the world right now, what would it say?
I think it would say slow down. I would say slow down.
Yeah, but there's so much in the way of that. There's so, like, I feel we want that, but there's so many people that are chasing these things.
Yeah,
like
but I feel like that chase is a distortion. It's not real. as soon as they fall hard enough, that chase is over.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It just takes like one accident to change it all, or one health
Sure.
issue to change it all, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Neil.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's awesome. Appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. You can connect with Into Healing on TikTok and Instagram for more inspirational and behind-the-scenes content, and visit our website, intohealing.com, for transcripts and other goodies. Thank you for joining us.